Hello everyone, it's Stasha Erickson with the message, and it has been quite some time since I have brought a podcast to all of you, but I knew because of the intensity of the energy of this time that it was pertinent that I do a podcast and bring a worldwide message to humanity. Now, the main theme of what I want to talk about today is about the end of the world. Now, we've been hearing these theories about the end of the world since really the beginning of time. Scholars and poets and prophets and seers throughout history have predicted end of the world apocalyptic events for as long as history has been recorded. Back to Babylonian, Egyptian days, we have stones and we have tablets and we have hieroglyphs and we have all types of different messages that have been repeated throughout history that show either the rise or the destruction of a certain civilization. And this has just gone on over and over and over again. And each time a civilization comes to an end, we call this the end of an age. There's been different ages throughout history, and right now we are approaching what is known as the Fifth Age, and people are calling this the Golden Age. Now, I am someone who have spent a majority of my time researching this topic about the end of the world. There's been many times that I myself allowed the fear and the propaganda to get to me. This happened to me, I remember back in 1999 when they thought the world was going to end on December 31st of 1999. I had just had my second child. My son had just been born. And I remember thinking, oh my God, I've just given life to this child, and now the world's going to end. And he was born the end of November of 1999. So, to myself, I thought, God, how could God create this beautiful life for me and beautiful children for me and then take it all away? Now, as we all know, the world did not end on January 1st of 2000. But it did, throughout time, there were several other dates. I even remember a time back in the 90s when there was a guy by the name of Harold Camping, I think his name was, and he had predicted that the world was going to end sometime, I believe it was like September 23rd of like 1994 or something like that. So these theories, they've really been going on a long time, but the one that I believed was affecting myself and probably most of the people in the spiritual community and the people who are aware of these theories was December 21st of 2012. That was really the one that was marketed and so heavily within the spiritual community that it affected a lot of us a great deal. And myself and a large group of people within the spiritual community, we all had these really strong awakenings kind of at the same time, where we started remembering past lives. Some of us were even seeing visions of the end of the world, myself included. I had some really crazy visions that, they weren't dreams. I wasn't asleep. I was wide awake, and I was able to visualize this terrible destruction that had taken place all over the earth. Florida was gone. New York was gone. All that remained of the East Coast were a collection of islands that combined up with Canada, and they were calling it something like New Victoria. These were some of my own personal visions, and when I told people about this type of stuff, they thought I was crazy. And then I started to do more research online, and then I found out that I wasn't the only person seeing these things. Now, most of the people that I had spoken to that had had similar visions to myself were people that I would say would be considered psychic, or, what the general population will call psychic, or say that we have, extrasensory capabilities. Now, I believe that some of us who have this kind of skill to be able to see things into the future or see things from the past I believe we get kind of picked on. I believe many people are aware of our abilities from birth. This can go very deep into, we can talk about genetic hybridization. We can talk about, my mind's going blank there because that's something they just probably don't want me to talk so much into depth about. So I won't get so much into that. But I do believe that there are many of us that are kind of picked on. And when you're a child and you're able to see things, and maybe you speak up to your parents and you say, I can see angels, or I can hear this, or I can see that. This is when doctors and teachers and society start to tell your parents, okay, your child is crazy and they need to be on medication. So myself included, and many other people that I knew growing up, we had to be put on some type of a mood stabilizer or a antidepressant. And most of the time, it really wasn't our parents choosing this. It's always like the doctors and the teachers and the schools that kind of make the parents believe that if you don't put your child on this medicine, you know, you're a bad parent and your child has a chemical imbalance and they need this to survive, etc., etc. So at no fault to my own parents and to other parents all over the world that have made these decisions, you know, to kind of dumb down their child's abilities. I think for a lot of us out there, we need to give forgiveness to our parents if we were one of these people who was kind of labeled at a very young age. We really are being singled out. Many of us are being kind of chosen and picked on, and they like to test us. So my theory about this is not to say that these visions that I had of the end of the world were fake. It's not to say that I didn't go into the future and was able to see some type of a prophetic vision of what could happen to our planet. But on the other side of things, I believe that many of us really are being manipulated from afar. I believe in telepathic projection. I believe that there is technology out there that can project thoughts and images and all types of things into our minds. And if we're not fully aware of these things, or we say, oh, we don't believe in that, then of course these things can continue. If you believe that this type of thing sounds crazy, just do a little research into mind control in the 1940s or the 1950s. Look up a project called MK Ultra, if you don't know what I'm talking about. Mind control and all of these things are not theories. They are proven governmental experiments that have gone on really mostly since the 40s and World War II and the Hitler movement. This is really when things escalated for us. This is also around the time of the Roswell crash. After the Roswell crash, look what happened to our technology. Suddenly we had televisions, we had radio, we had all of these devices that just simply weren't there before. If anyone believes that there hasn't been any type of outside intervention into humanity or into this planet at this point, you really, really are being fooled. They really are winning. They are brainwashing us and they are dumbing us down. They are desensitizing us with these constant events that happen every day. Oh, there's a shooting in Charleston. Oh, there's a such and such. Oh, now we've got a terrorist crime. Now we have a hate crime. Now we have a racist crime. These are things that this same box, and this goes back to all of the podcasts that I made before talking about the Kaaba and the cube. This is that box. Your own television is the shape of a cube, and it is called television programming. What that means is that through commercials and television shows and the flow of things, they are controlling our minds. They are dumbing us down. I threw my television away back in 2010. I suggest that many of you do the same thing. And it's not to say that you can never watch a program for the rest of your life, but get the internet, download and choose the programming that you would like to watch. Do not sit there and allow that box to control you, or especially your children, anymore. Now, I want to get back to what this podcast is truly about, which is about the end of the world. And there's just many topics that I feel that are very important at this time that I did need to cover. Now, back to the end of the world. The main theory that everybody right now has about the world coming to an end is based off of the book of Revelation. Now, I have been studying the Bible for many years. I went to a university and specialized in religious studies. I went to a Christian school that taught a Christian worldview. Now, I've never been a Christian, but I truly believe that Jesus existed. I believe that many of the characters in the Bible existed. And I believe that it is, in the way, the Bible is a loosely written history book. But the more research that I have done throughout the years, I have discovered more and more about this actual Bible. Now, particularly the one that I have the biggest problem with is the King James Bible, because that is the one that most people all over the world use as their go-to. But what many of you probably do not really realize is that the book of Revelation was a book that was added much later. It was added much later than the original text. Now, they've tried to kind of blur the lines and say, okay, the book of Revelation was first dated near the end of the first century, around 96 AD. But some other people believe that the apocalypse was penned around 68 or 69 AD. So the thrust of the book is supposed to relate to the impending destruction of Jerusalem. So really they're saying, okay, the book of Revelation was just written for those people back in the day. It was about the destruction of Jerusalem, but this stuff already went down, so, it doesn't pertain to us anymore. But my research shows that this book was written after destruction of Jerusalem and after many of these historical events that are listed in our Bible. There was a huge Reformation period that had to do with Constantine and also with Martin Luther, and the Bible was essentially rewritten by the Romans multiple times, and this was done in conjunction with a lot of the Jewish rabbis that were happening there, or Jewish priests from back in the day. They kind of got together and decided that, hey, let's rewrite this ending to this book that everybody is relying on so heavily. Let's write an ending that will give these people really not a good ending at all. Let's write an ending that will make everyone believe that the world will come to an end at the end of their existence. So many centuries ago, or whenever they actually rewrote and created this book of Revelation, they entered it into every Bible in the back. They got rid of all the Bibles that didn't have Revelation in them so that nobody could remember that it wasn't there before. The Bible itself, and the reason that they wrote this book of Revelation, added it to the end of the Bible, it is actually what we would know typically in modern day as a spell. What is a spell? A spell is a string of words, or what we know as like an incantation, where you are using words that numerologically add up to certain energies. Every letter has a numerological equivalent. So, one passage of the book of Revelation will have a number that it will equal to at the end. That number will signify something to the lads that rewrote this book. The lads that rewrote this book, again, I can't say it's just the Romans or it was just the people, or the Jewish people of this time. And I'm not speaking to Romans of this time, and I'm not speaking to Jewish people of this time. I'm just speaking history right now. So a lot of these Jewish priests were into mysticism or Kabbalah, and they really, really knew a lot about this stuff. So the Romans they were more money guys and power guys, and they trusted the Jewish rabbis, and they said to them, hey, we want to work with your magic, and we'll kind of put all the laymen down, and they'll be all of our slaves, and they'll do whatever we want, but we really got to find a way to control them. So the best way we can control them is to control them through their faith. So they really wrote this book of Revelation as a spell. And what this means is that every single verse, every single chapter of the book of Revelation is not true. It was created by men who wanted to control the rest of humanity. They believed that they knew something more than the rest of us, and that they had some secret knowledge that if they held everybody down and kept it away from them, then for centuries, throughout time into the future, they would continue to control the common person. Where do you think we're at today? What do you think corporations are? Why do you think that each and every one of us have to get up every day, put on a suit and tie, leave our children with strangers at a school or a daycare, and come home every day totally wrecked and tired, and we have nothing left to give to ourselves or our loved ones or our children or our wife. So they've won. They have won throughout time by controlling people with this book. So this spell that they put into the end of the Bible, truly, they knew that if enough people read this book and enough people read this spell, then every single thing that they put into that spell would come to pass. So here we are, way down the line, and all of these scholars and all of these Bible interpreters are looking up the book of Revelation right now, and they're coinciding dates, and they're saying, okay, this is going to happen on this date, and this numerologically adds up to this date of September 23rd, and if we go here, it's September 23rd this, and September 23rd that, etc., etc. So you see what I mean? Why do you think that there are so many people around the world shoving the Bible down our throats? Why do you believe there are so many pastors that are so pushy and so shovey and telling everyone, you must repent and you must be sorry and you're born a sinner and that's just how it is, and if you don't feel sorry and guilty for the rest of your life and beg for forgiveness, you're just going to hell. And we don't believe in reincarnation. We don't believe in second chances. You only get one life, and if you fuck it up, you die forever. You burn in the eternal lake of fire, and God won't forgive you. I mean, this is just straight up bullshit. I have to say, it's complete bullshit. What God would create souls all over this planet to allow them, or in the exceeding hope that they would grow and change and prosper and evolve into something greater than he could have ever imagined in the first place. Oh, no. We're just going to create beings, give them one chance, and if they don't figure it out the first time, they're done. No forgiveness here, no second chances here. Yeah, right. The first part of the Bible talks about how Jesus teaches nothing but forgiveness and unconditional love. So where the heck did this ending come from? We really have to close our Bibles, and if we're going to open them up right now, we need to use them to study. We need to be students. We need to research. We need to take this stuff very seriously, because you know what? They do. They take it really seriously. And they really are really relying on this book of Revelation going down. So guess what? If people like myself and all of you out there, one at a time, start exposing the fact that this is just a straight up made up spell, and that we're being fooled if we follow this book past that last chapter, we have to get real. We have to educate ourselves. Don't allow your pastor or anyone in your church to tell you that if somebody says don't read the Bible, that they're a demon or that they're working with Satan. This is what they like to do. They like to throw fear at everybody. If you've watched many of the videos I have or the podcasts that I've released before this, a lot of them have to do with Satan and Saturn. And why is that? I'm not a Satanist. I'm not a devil worshiper. But I have been studying a lot of stuff about this being and about this energy of the spirit. And I truly believe, just like the book of Revelation, most of the facts about this man have been lies. There is a ton of research out there that proves that actually the guy that they call Satan is the God of the Bible. So if you really want to get heavy into it, start doing the research. Who is the God of the Bible? And actually, are there two gods of the Bible? So be very careful where you handle all your faith. The main thing that Jesus taught in the Bible, and really Jesus is one of the only characters I can really give credit to. I still don't think that's his real name. Pretty sure they changed that on everybody too, just to confuse. But the main thing that Jesus was telling everybody and teaching everybody is that your relationship with God is located within your heart. It is not located in a book. It is not located, it's not found within your rituals, with your prayer beads and the constant, let's drink Jesus' blood and let's eat his body, the body of Christ. This is not how you find your relationship with God. These are all distractions. Most of the Catholic Church is based off of cannibalism. And I know that might sound crazy to a lot of people, but Catholics are straight up cannibals. You're drinking the blood of Jesus and eating his body every Sunday? That's fucking weird. I'm sorry, it's weird. What are we really putting our faith into? We need to all stop for a minute and break out of this spell and go, what the heck am I doing? Where is my relationship with God? It is found within your heart. It is found within your soul. That's the only place. So even if terrorists came down here and held a gun to your head and said, do you believe in Jesus? And you say no to save your own life, within your heart, Jesus will know that you love him, that you have a relationship with him, and that sometimes our society and other human beings are sick and need guidance and need help. So never mind the books, never mind the rituals. Find God in your heart. If you don't like the name God, if you don't like the name Jesus, use whatever word feels comfortable to you. You can simply say, the creator of my soul. Each and every human being on this planet has a separate soul. And our soul is unique to our purpose and to the bigger picture. So we cannot deny that part of ourselves anymore. We cannot deny our souls anymore. We have to strengthen and remember who we are and allow our inner lights to shine out. Now, I can't only attack the religious sects in this message, and I'm not really trying to attack anybody. Honestly, what I'm really trying to do is just get people to think a little bit, to open up books and to do a little research before you take and rely all of your messages from another human being. I don't even want you to take my word for it. This is why I'm mentioning the names of books and I'm giving you guys details so that you can do some research on your own. One of the books that really opened my eyes to the Jewish connection here and how long the deception had gone on from the Jewish folks was the book called the Talmud. Now, the Talmud is one of the most important texts to religious scholars. It's not just known as the Talmud, it's actually known as the Babylonian Talmud. And when you're reading the Babylonian Talmud, it straight up talks about, there's basically several passages in there where the Jewish mystics are making this agreement with the Romans to say, hey, we're going to be the ones that actually want to kill Jesus because he's pretending to be this strong, powerful sage. You know, these guys were known as magicians and mages back then, the Jewish priests. Well, this guy thinks he's a sage and he's going to come here and do all these crazy healing things and blow everybody's mind, but we know it's just witchcraft. He's got to be doing witchcraft. Jesus is a witch. Let's burn him at the stake. Let's kill him. Let's crucify him. And the Romans thought, well, God, this guy, Jesus, isn't really helping us very much, so let's just go along with what these Jewish rabbis are saying and let's get rid of him. So that's basically, in layman's terms, what happens in the Talmud. So the Romans didn't directly kill Jesus, but they had something to do with it. They looked the other way and they allowed it to happen. So you have to ask yourself, why did the Jewish people hate Jesus so much, especially when Jesus is supposed to be a Jew? It's really confusing. And I'm no expert here, but I've been studying my ass off for many years now, and I'm still going, what the hell is going on here? So it's not just the Jewish faith that has been confusing our books from many years ago. I will now get into one of the most important aspects of this whole distraction game, and I will talk about the New Age distractions. I was a big part of the spiritual New Age community several years ago, where my videos, people were relying on my every word, and I was uploading videos sometimes 5 to 6 to 7 times a day. I was so busy, I didn't even know where to begin with myself. And I started to feel that I was being fed off of by a lot of these people. Like, these people were trying to feed off of my energy. A lot of people were finding me from Facebook. This is another reason lately why I've really wanted to detach from it. But a lot of these people came to me, relied on my every word, listened to my every move. And then I was starting to feel like there was something else going on. Like, maybe these human beings were real human beings, but perhaps they had something attached to them that I couldn't see, that was more interested in feeding off of my mind and my soul than really interested in the reading that I had to provide to this person or the advice that I was supposed to give to this person. There was something deeper going on. So I had yet another kind of spiritual awakening back in like 2012 after the first or second ones I was having. And during this time, I really had what we will call a come to Jesus moment. I had a straight up moment with God in my apartment, in my house. Actually, it wasn't an apartment, in my house in Ireland. And he was saying to me, yo, Look around you, all of this love and light and spiritual new age stuff, it's just as much of a deception as the religious side of things. So I tested it out a little bit. I thought, no way, these people have our best interests at heart. These are spiritual people. They're teaching people to meditate and to connect with their higher self and all of these things. That's nothing but good, right, God? And he said, anything that seems too good to be true is. That's essentially what he said to me. So I had to kind of start putting these people at arm's length. I sat back and I watched a lot of these people go under what I consider possession. A lot of these people were channeling entities and channeling beings from other star systems. And the research I did at the end of the day straight up just said, those people are talking to demons. So I got very afraid of the spiritual community and I started to detach a little bit, because anytime I would kind of test out this theory with, hey, are these spiritual people really having my best interests at heart, is I would start talking about Jesus. And boy, oh boy, did that make the people in the spiritual community mad. And these weren't even people that had actually researched the side of things that I have to this point that actually proves why religion was bad and why the Bible was manipulated and all this stuff. I was kind of naive to this stuff at this point. But I thought, hey, why don't I just try dropping Jesus' name every once in a while and see what happens? And anytime I would talk about Jesus, these spiritual gurus and people on YouTube that many of you are probably subscribed to that have tens of thousands of subscribers, they would freak out on me. They would be like, oh my God, you're just full of religious programming. How can you be talking about Jesus? Oh, you have so much to learn. So that's how they would talk to me, like looking down upon me as if I was so clueless and that Jesus was a lie and that there was nothing to be found within your heart of Jesus. And this was all just religious programming handed down to us throughout our lives. But I wasn't raised religious. I was raised in a very open-minded household. My mother had been raised Catholic, and it freaked her out so bad that when she raised me, was like, hey girl, choose what you want out of life. My mom was very spiritual. She was into Buddhism and other things, but I was raised with a very open mind. I never even went to church. To this day, I've been to church like twice, and those were for funerals and weddings. The other times I've been to churches were once they've been abandoned, and my husband and I go to like an old abandoned church from Ireland that's like hundreds of years old, and we go and we clear out all of the negative energy and spirits that are residing there. So I didn't have this religious program being put into my brain that all of these spiritual gurus tried to feed back to me that, oh, you're religiously programmed. I didn't have that within me because I didn't have that experience growing up. I didn't know Jesus. I didn't know Mother Mary. I didn't know any of this stuff. So it really raised some red flags in me, and I thought to myself, okay, these spiritual gurus have an agenda. They want to lessen my spiritual experience with God and tell me that I'm being programmed, and that's just not okay with me. I've had a relationship with God inside of my heart since the beginning of time. So for some gurus to come out of nowhere with books, these esoteric books that straight up, most of these are actually, if you do the research on a lot of these spiritual new age books that have to do with like the different levels of meditation and the different chakras and everything, a lot of these are going back to spells again. These are all spells. A lot of them are coming also from the governmental mind control programs. Even the AA, Alcoholics Anonymous program, is a pyramid program. I'm a fan of AA because it saved many people's lives that I know personally that have had major drug and alcohol problems. But the program itself, if you really see someone that's in the program, boy, oh boy, do they get on their high horse. They are being controlled yet again. It's another mind control program that really, a lot of those AA 12-step books, they're going back again to these mind control programs like MK Ultra and Project Blue Book and all of this stuff. A lot of them, too, of the 12-step program are also based on Freemasonry. Do the research, guys. I'm really not making this stuff up. So I didn't have all these pre-programmed things that these gurus tried to serve back to me of, oh, you have so much to learn. Oh, I feel sorry for you. Just do another 12 hours of meditation and then maybe you'll get it. No. What is all this meditating about? Meditation should take 5 minutes for you to sit down, get quiet, and connect within yourself and connect within God. Reset. Turn off your mind and allow the messages to flow in. That's what meditation should be. When you have to do all these steps and do all these chants and do all these breathing techniques, that all these heavy breathing techniques are essentially just almost killing you. If you breathe enough heavily, all these dragon breath and the fire breath and all this nam sat sat nam sat nam, all the kundalini breathing, what do you think that is? You're basically cutting off your own circulation and getting moments away from death. It's no different than those crazy S&M people that like choke themselves and you know what I'm on about. I don't even want to go there. But it's really dark. It's very dark. Meditation should have nothing to do with all these steps and things you have to do. The number one way that outside entities or spirits or beings can slip into your being is when you're detaching from yourself. So if you're spending all this time detaching and meditating and trying to get your body to astral project and get outside of your body, what happens to you? What happens to your soul? What happens to you? You get lost in the process. So a lot of you are probably sitting here thinking, dude, she said, don't be religious. Don't read Jewish mysticism. Don't meditate. Don't go to spiritual gurus. What's left for me? This is where the beginnings start. You have to get rid of all of the distractions that make you who you are and make you what you believe. You have to strip everything down, and you have to have nothing left but your heart and your soul and the strength that exists within it in order for your soul to grow. We are here in what is known as Earth School. And yes, reincarnation is real. We will die and we will come back over and over and over and over again, infinity times, until our soul gets it. If we come down here and we're lazy, if we take shortcuts and we try to just scoot by, you're coming back again. And this will continue on until every single soul that was part of this Earth experiment can go home to Papa Sun and to Mama Moon and whatever you want to call it. They can go home to heaven. So if you think you're here just to sit here and chill and get by, think again. And the other level of the deception that's been really happening here that I've spoken about again in a lot of my previous videos is about the Islam deception. And I know that if many of you are hearing my video for the first time, you're going to think, this lady is crazy. She's just sitting here ripping on everybody. But I'm not. I'm not ripping on human beings. I believe that human beings are the most special and precious gift on this planet. Nature, to me, is God. Nature, animals, water, the wind, the planets, the plants, the trees, flowers, everything. So I'm not telling you to not believe in anything. I'm just telling you to believe in things that are more simple. So the Islamic deception, yes, it's very real. I put out the class called the Kaaba series almost a year ago or something. I released it then for free about 2 months ago so that people can start educating themselves about what is happening in Mecca, Saudi Arabia. And no one listened. I'm really about to start crying right now because I really want people to get this message. So I've been telling people about Mecca and about the cube and about all of this stuff. And that I truly believe there's no difference between Judaism and Islam and Catholicism and Christianity. They're all working together. So what happened about a week ago? Actually, it was September 11th. What happened on September 11th? Did you guys know what happened in Mecca, Saudi Arabia on September 11th? They didn't put it all over the news. They didn't want people to draw attention to these things. Well, they had been building some tower, some big crane up above the black cube, the Mecca building. So they'd been climbing up this crane and doing something above the building in Mecca. And what happened? The crane crashed. It killed everybody. Over 107 people died. Now 107, that's yet another number that represents evil. Do you think that was a mistake? No. But do I believe that this this crane falling at Mecca and killing 107 pilgrims who were in the middle of preparing for the Hajj pilgrimage, which was supposed to start on the 21st of September. Do I think that maybe those 107 fools that were up on the crane doing something to that building, probably adding yet another antenna or spire to control all of us with? Do you think that I think that happened by accident? No. Do you think that I believe that that crane fell by man-made reasons? No. That crane fell because God, our Father who created us, knows what these fools are doing. And I'm not going to repeat the whole thing about what's going on with Islam and Mecca. Please just do yourself a favor. Go to the playlist on my page called The Message on my YouTube channel. Please listen to those podcasts. God knew what was happening. God knows what these fools are doing. They know they're trying to manipulate everybody with that black stone there. The black stone is yet another class I've created. Please check about that too. It's all so important. It's all connected. He knows what they're doing. He knew what they were doing. And that was divine intervention. God is very in control right now. The Father of this planet, the creator of this planet, is very in control right now. So we needn't not worry anymore about outside people and outside influences, because the institutions and the groups that are causing all of these distraction and all of this destruction, all the beings of the universe are watching these people right now, watching these fools, and they're like, do you really think you're going to get away with this? And they truly believe, just back to the book of Revelation again, that if they write enough spells and if enough people are so fear of God and will go around living their life by the letter of these books, then they've won. They're winning every single time we read the book of Revelation. They're winning every single time we give power to these destructive ideas and events. They want to throw a millstone or an asteroid to the coast of California and destroy everybody there. It's not going to happen. You guys have to realize that this is beyond even humans. The humans are waking up to what you're doing. Humanity's waking up to these things little by little. But the bigger fools, the ones that created all of you down here doing this distractions, they know what you're doing. They can see you. All of the minions, all of the jinn, all of the archons, all of you who have all the bioengineered robotic life forms in this black goo that I've talked about before, all of you are not, your souls do not originate in this planet. So if your souls don't originate here and you're going to come down here and manipulate everyone through television, through radio, through music, half of our celebrities are gone. They're all cloned. They're really cloned. If you don't believe in cloning and you think that that's crazy and I'm making that up, do research on cloning too. It also started back in the 40s with our presidents. Jimmy Carter was one of the first ones. Look at that fool. Look at Jimmy Carter. Just get a bunch of pictures of Jimmy Carter from different years and put them in a row. Do you really think that's the same human being? This shouldn't be so hard for us to realize that there's something really big going on here. So my point is, if you don't want to sit and do the research to find out what's really going on, if this darkness stuff scares you and it seems so crazy, then don't. Don't worry about those details. Let people like me figure it out. But you need to start trusting yourselves. You need to start trusting other human beings. You need to start finding a relationship within yourself, because that is all that matters. My point of saying this is that these fools will create their own destruction. When you work against the natural laws of the universe fights back. It does. It fights back. It's instant. It's just like karma. So you don't have to spend your time focusing on what destruction everyone's trying to put upon us. But you do need to start focusing on your own self, your own heart, the way you treat others, the people around you. Tell the people in your family how much you love them. Don't go off to some foreign country to save the rainforest. Stay at home and save your neighborhood. Stay at home and speak to your parents, speak to your children, speak to that family member that you're estranged from. Say, I love you, please forgive me, I'm sorry, all of these things to anything that's holding you back. Because God works in mysterious ways, and he will continue to destroy these fools that are destroying themselves. Every time they try to do something wrong, it's going to backfire on them tenfold right now. Because our Papa has had it. He has had it. He's given, talk about second chances, he's given infinity chances to a lot of these beings, and they're still trying to manipulate good, innocent human beings who came down here to love and experience and enjoy their lives. So if there's going to be an end of the world, it's not going to be an end of our world. It's going to be an end of their world. Their falsities and their facades and their masks and this whole game they're playing, that is what is coming to an end. And that is the most important thing that we can believe at this time. So close the book of Revelation, break the spells, reverse all the damage that has been done to us, take back our power. Don't get lost in the details anymore. Literally, if you think everything that I have said in this video is crazy, that's okay with me. But at least, hopefully, it made you think about something. Maybe something I spoke about tonight struck a chord within your heart as a little measure of truth. In my heart, I feel like I am the mother of humanity. I feel responsible for each and every person out there. And all of you should find that connection with yourself as well. Begin to look around and find love and find a brother or a sister in every single human being that you encounter. Because many of the people on this planet are our brothers and sisters. And they're not from other space, they're not our space brothers. They're not other planetary brothers. Never mind people and beings from other planets. Your mother and your father and your children are all people that you have reincarnated with over and over again. And you have chosen to be with each other throughout your lives because you care. And that's the one thing that humans have that these other beings don't. We care. They even have a ritual called the cremation of care, where they kill all cares. We were created with hearts. We were created with souls, and we were created with free will and choice. And that gives us a better foundation than the majority of the beings that exist in this universe. So stop taking for granted how much power and control you truly have over this lifetime. Stop taking control, or start taking control of your family and of your decisions and of your life. Because this life may be short for you otherwise, and it may get cut short, and you may have to come back again and start all over. And if you look around you and you love the people that are in your life now, then make this the dream life. Make this your fantasy life. Make this the heaven on earth that we all so desire. For the Christians out there that hear this video, don't stop living your life the best way you can now so that you have a great future in heaven. Start living your life great right now because it's the right thing to do. And it's got to stop with the judgments on everyone. Race, sexual orientation, it doesn't matter. I'm aware that there is an agenda right now to blur lines of sexuality and all of these things. It's pretty shoved in our faces right now. But that doesn't mean that we have to stop loving one another. That doesn't mean that we have to start putting anybody separate from ourselves. We are all related in our cores. We all come from the same God who created all of us and wants nothing but the best for us. Just like all of you who have children out there. What do you want for your child but the best in life? And that is what God intended for us. And that is what our Creator intended for us. And that is what we are here to do. So I love all of you ever so much. If anyone has sat here and listened to this whole message, thank you. This was not just me, myself, Stasha Erickson speaking today. This was a message from God. And it is time now that we remember how special and how precious and how perfect we are. Because in God's eyes, we are. Just like again, I'll use the same theory. How does your child look to you? Even if your child does the worst thing in the world, do you not love your child unconditionally? Do you not look at them and say, God, I just love you so much and I'm going to give you everything that you deserve? He is our loving Father, our loving parent up there in the sky, and He has given us all a chance. So never mind the spells, never mind the distraction, never mind the destruction. It will not happen. It will not happen.